think he is going to get pushed back this time. Yeah, if he knows what's good for him, he's going to fall back. Uh-oh, he could get surrounded, though, by those mines. Oh, nicely done. Very, very nicely done. Using the vultures to kind of harry the retreating army and try and do some more damage. Doesn't manage to take out as much as he could have, though. But again, just is going to secure this middle location. A lot of mines in the area as well, and those tanks back up on the high ground. A little squad of zealots just trying to go in here and harass this new expansion. He's got an observer that's just spotted it out. Manages to finish in time and float it, though, so the command center isn't going to have to get canceled or anything like that. I'm not sure where he's going with it. He may try and put it over here in this expansion instead. But yeah, so we are probably going to see some arbiters here in just a minute. But yeah, he has just gotten these gateways up, and he's got a lot of money in the bank, so he's going to be able to put out a lot of arbiters and a lot of units here. If he starts macroing a little bit better, he's probably going to want to think about getting another expansion, though, now that his main is mined out. He's researching stasis here. But in the meantime, Stink pushing up the middle with these tanks. Again, leaving himself a little bit vulnerable to a flank, though. He could, and oh, here comes some zealots coming in from behind, trying for a mine drag, actually. One zealot is going to get in the middle there. Not enough mines in the back to drag into him, though, but he's going in with dragoons in the middle, though, and as well, they're getting completely plastered by the tanks, though, absolutely slaughtered, and that was, wow, he just didn't have enough zealots to go with that attack there. He had a lot of dragoons in the area, but he didn't move them in close enough, quite quick enough. And what could he do? He microed them really well, but just it wasn't quite enough, and they got really, really slaughtered. So now he's going to have to depend on that money he has saved up to really macro up some forces here, because now we see Stink actually. Okay, so he's going to try and put that back on that location there. Stink actually pushing in really close to his natural expansion here, and he's got a few vultures, just a few vultures, but that's all he needs. Really, and yeah, this is what he needs to do. At this point, basically, nosliw needs to just build up as many forces as he can in a big ball and wait. And if it's possible, get around the side as well. Get a group of them around the side for a flank, because Stink is going to push in slowly and steadily here, and he's going to need as many forces as possible to break this containment that he's setting up here. So nosliw is going to have to just build up forces, not commit. If he commits to just small attacks, he's just going to lose his forces. He needs to keep back until he has as many troops as possible, until the last possible moment for the push out. But he sees those tanks on his door, that they're unsieged, and he thinks that this is the time. He's moving out now. He does have arbiters in play. They don't have enough energy for stasis, though, but they are going to keep those cloaked and be able to drag those zealots in close to the tank. So one zealot on each tank, he is going to break this contain. So nicely done. Those arbiters serving their job well. I mean, he's still in a lot of danger because these tanks are still nearby. But at the very least, he got those tanks out from in front of his door. Oh, those mines doing a lot of damage, splashing a lot of those zealots. And another mine going off could theoretically do. Oh, geez, yeah. Most of these zealots are now very, very damaged. Look at that. Most of them are at low health, no shields. So he should probably fall those back. But he is just going to try and just go all in, try and kill off these tanks while they're vulnerable, while they don't have a lot of support. And also at the same time go. Yeah, I think he is gonna take his arbiters over here and have his arbiters attack this expansion. And really, that's a good idea, because they're both mined out in their mains now. If he could take out this expansion, then basically Stink will be running off of just this one base, which is almost mined out as well. And if he could just hold out long enough and manage to kill off that base, then he'll be in good shape. Some Goliaths coming over here to kill that off, though. By the way, just to kind of show you 1-1 upgrades, and no upgrades at all, actually, for nosliw. I didn't realize he didn't even have any upgrades going. So the second arbiter is going to get away, possibly the zealot as well. But Dark Templar coming in here, no need for an arbiter to keep him cloaked. He's going to try and come in here and chop down that command center even further and see if Stink doesn't notice it. Actually, I don't know why I thought he was going to go for the command center. The SCV is obviously the better target, so he is going to go after the SCVs. Comsat going off to no avail, though. Oh, is he going to... Yeah, he's attacking the Dark Templar with SCVs. Not the most efficient use of SCVs, but it's, you know, not doing it. I mean, it can be in a pinch. You can do it if you're really gang up on the Dark Templar, but he didn't have even enough SCVs to gang up on it. So he's going to have to bring in these Vultures instead. Stink once again trying to establish this middle ground, but he keeps getting his containment shut down and shut down and shut down, and he just hasn't built up the critical mass of units that he's needed to really keep that contained. He would just need a big ton of tanks, and he had a big ton of tanks that one time, but that was the time when he didn't have the Vultures in place, and the Zealots came in from behind. And ever since then, he hasn't been able to build up a good chunk of tanks to really hold things off. A good chunk of tanks and Vultures as well to really hold things off, and so he's really slowly losing the game. nosliw getting up a 4th base now. Well, I guess it'll be a 3rd mining base since he just has his main mined out. But he's managed to lift this command center over here, and that is huge because now Stink is really, really, really hurting here. He is really low on resources. He has just a couple hundred minerals left on these patches. At this expansion, it looks like he's going to try and take this this base instead. nosliw's going to spot it immediately. His observer's chilling there just to see if that happened, and he's got a decent army going on here. Now, Stink does have a decent army as well, and he's got the high ground here, and he's got a position where he can kind of overlook this gap here. It still is going to leave room for things to flank around the side here. It looks like these Dragoons were trying to do that. So it's still possible for nosliw to get around and do some damage to that new expansion, but Stink is in a lot better position to defend it now. He's in, especially if he gets some tanks down in here or something along those lines, he'll be in a really good position to defend. And he's got a lot more Vultures to support his tanks this time around, so he's not going to be as easily broken. And here come some more tanks. So again, looks like he's pushing in, just trying to protect his expansion by going for a sort of a slow push up the middle of his own. nosliw taking this expansion on the right, a little bit vulnerable position, especially if all he has to do is get a couple tanks here and a couple tanks here, and he'll be able to siege that expansion up. But he's concentrating on this push down the middle, so he's not really thinking about that right now. Coming in with a bunch of Dragoons here. The Zealots coming in from behind. There are a lot of Vultures here. I don't think this attack is going to succeed. He's got a lot of support this time. The Zealots are managing to get up in the middle, but the Zealots are probably going to get killed off by the Vultures, and not enough Dragoons are left, so this is going to be almost a stalemate, but at the end, the Vultures barely push back the Zealots, and the tanks are able to concentrate their fire on the Dragoons and just plaster them into a puddle of blue goo here in the middle. A blue goo with random bits of mechanical body parts strewn in them as well. And now Stink has come back from the brink here. He was really in bad shape. His economy was almost dead, and his push just kept getting shut down and shut down. But this time he waited and waited and waited until he had a decent force, and then moved out and then started pushing in. And this time he was able to hold. He is able to keep this middle and keep this expansion going. After all, but in the meantime, again, nosliw has just taken a really commanding economic lead. He's got only 2 bases running at the moment, actually, because he's mined out in all those other bases. So just 2 bases to this one base, but he doesn't have any SCVs at this base. I'm not sure what happened. This is probably a clump of like 10 to 12 SCVs right here mining this one mineral patch. In a few seconds, when those 12 go away, he's going to have a lot of SCVs, and really, it's going to be on him. He's really going to need to transfer those SCVs pretty quickly. Otherwise, he's just not going to have any money coming in. And I mean, he doesn't have any money coming in right now. And no, that was only